Here is a question for you to think about as we just begin this video. What is awareness? I'm talking about awareness of reality. What is that? How would you define that? You say, well, it's kind of obvious. You're aware of reality. It's self-descriptive. But let's dig a little bit deeper and let's say what it is. It's an absence of denial. So what is darkness? It's an absence of light. What is light? It's an absence of denial. What is denial? It's an absence of awareness. What is awareness? It's an absence of denial. You get it. You understand that, right? So what we're talking about is, what does a healthy mind look like? And it's difficult to accurately describe a healthy mind because it seems like everybody has a different definition. But in general, I think we can come to a consensus. Now, as a person with autism, high-functioning autism, Asperger syndrome, one of the things you are challenged with is retaining a healthy mind because of the unique and different pressures that you were put under, due by and large to rejection by society as a whole because of, that mind blindness where you just don't fit in, you just don't know how to do this. There's something there, it seems, that is a piece of your brain that is just gone. It just never has been there. So you don't know how to socialize, and because of that, you may be subjected to bullying or exclusion. You may miss out on promotions, all kinds of things, some of the fun things in life. You just miss out on it because, well, you just can't participate. And because of that, it weighs heavy on your mind. It causes stress, sometimes depression. People with Asperger syndrome, I've heard, have a serious problem, far higher than the population as a whole, with depression. So, yeah, we need to know what is a healthy mind, and I'm pretty sure I could be wrong about this, but I'm sure someone who has chronic depression does not have what we would think of as a healthy mind, or some of these other problems that are part of having, or accompany having, comorbid is the word, with autism, high-functioning autism. So one of those things is we need just to get rid of denial because we live in a real world, but we don't always recognize it. We always have something in our mind that we exaggerate. And if we are having a problem with, any one of these symptoms, like depression, not just that, but if we have a problem with any one of these symptoms, usually it's because we're in denial. We have a distorted view of the world. Now, we are aware that we have been rejected. That's a good thing. So we can know how to deal with it effectively and accurately. But the denial comes when we view ourselves as bad people. I said this in another video earlier this week, I think. If you were bullied, as a kid, or you're being bullied now as an adult, you think there's something wrong with me. That's not awareness of reality. That's denial. When somebody bullies you, there's something wrong with that person, not you. Somebody who hurts you for no reason other than to gratify their own ego, that is a flawed person. You are not the flawed person. If anything, there's something good about you, right about you. There's an element of empathy there in your life. You're an empath. That attracts that abuse. So really, it's almost like a sign that you're a pretty good person. So awareness, the absence of denial, is something that is so very important when we describe and strive to acquire a healthy mind. Why would you not want a healthy mind? We all want to be healthy, right? Want to have a healthy body, want to have a healthy mind? Why not? Number two is what we would call control or management. That is to say, we have a mind that we have control of. Have you ever gotten into a long stint of time when you have just ruminated about some of the difficulties that you faced, the way that you have been abused or mistreated? That may say, I think there's a point in time when that is good because we need to evaluate. But sometimes that just gets out of control, and we're not managing our thoughts. We have a part of our brain, the frontal lobe, that it's all about executive function. That means we are managing our thoughts. Well, are we? Or are our thoughts managing us? Stop and ask yourself that question. Are you managing your thoughts, or are your thoughts managing you? As a person with Asperger syndrome, a person with autism, that's an important question to ask constantly. I mean, that should be at the forefront of your mind. Who's in control here? These people who have parked inside my brain because of abuse that they probably have even forgotten about that happened years ago, but in my mind is still stuck there, or am I in charge of that? Think I will take control of my mind. Easier said than done, but yeah, that's part of it. Number 3 is this: empathetic but honest support. Now, what we're talking about here is we need support from other people. You know, I can hear your brain right now. I know your thoughts. Yep, I'm a mind reader. Well, maybe not. But I think what you were probably thinking is you're saying, hang on, Ken, one of the problems with Asperger syndrome, with high-functioning autism, is we have a difficult time socializing. We don't have friends or many friends. How am I going to find empathetic and honest friends when I don't even have one friend who is dishonest or not empathetic? You know, that's a big challenge. And the fact of the matter, it is. But it still stands that that is part of having a healthy mind. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But that's not a good thing. Now, that is one of the reasons why I encourage people to see therapists now and again. It's kind of like, if you have a difficulty physically, you go see a doctor, right? I have more doctors than I can think of. I have a heart doctor. I have a foot doctor. You know, they'll have their specialized names, podiatrist, or I have a general practitioner. You know, there's the emergency room doctor, not really my doctor, but what else? I have all kinds of doctors for all kinds of problems and symptoms that I have. Rheumatologist, got one of those. But do I have a therapist doctor? Doesn't have to be a doctor, by the way, just somebody who's qualified. Why would you not do that? I mean, you know, if you have renal problems, kidney problems, I don't even know what they call those people. Rheumatologist, whatever, kidney doctor, let's call them that. That just makes sense, right? Well, what if you have a mind problem, a brain problem, a depression problem, or some other problem that is comorbid with autism? By the way, I don't think autism is a mental disorder, mental illness rather. But why would you not go see a brain doctor? Well, that sounds weird. Brain doctor, sounds like a witch doctor almost. But no, these people are professionals. They went to school. Some of them have doctorate degrees. They have studied. If you find a good one, they have years and years and years of experience, some of them decades of experience. They know what they're doing. They know how to help. Why would you not go talk to one of those people? That's just part of health. Number 4, we already kind of touched on this, and that is impulse control. Every person I know that has Asperger syndrome or high-functioning autism has a problem with meltdowns. You know what that is? That's a lack of impulse control. We all got it, or almost all of us got it. There may be some who are exceptions to that, but, the frustrations, the pressures just build up, and finally you go nuts. Fortunately, when I go nuts, it lasts for a few seconds, and I get control of it fairly quickly. But impulse control is something that we need to work on, and that is a part of executive function. And it's not just that it's other things that we do impulsively. Sometimes I eat impulsively. That's usually not a good thing because it puts on extra pounds. Sometimes I will impulsively get on the internet when I should be working or doing something else. Should be mowing the grass. That's lack of impulse control. That's an impulse that is not under control, lack of impulse control. So there are a lot of examples of that, but a healthy mind is somebody who has learned to control their impulses as best as they can. I don't know anybody who has perfect impulse control, so don't, if you blow it, okay, I ate a candy bar, now what? Well, you're just normal, but the point is a healthy mind is one who understands, impulses generally are not rational and logical, even though our brains are programmed to be impulsive in certain circumstances. If you're attacked by a bear, your impulse tells you to fight or flight. Or if you're attacked by a dog or whatever, I see a wasp climbing on my wall. If he comes my direction, you're going to see me run out the door. Lack of impulse control? No, that's an impulse that's supposed to be there. So we need to learn the difference. Number 6 is, what will we call this? I think I'm going to just call it chemistry for lack of a better term. But the best way to say it is, and some people will disagree with me on this, but basically what we're saying here is take your meds. You know, if you have any kind of problem whatsoever and you have prescription medications to it from a reliable doctor who actually knows what he or she is doing, take your medications. You know, I know some religious people say, no, I'm going to live by faith. They're just dumb. I mean, you know, that's not faith, it's being stupid. I know a lot of people not religious, but if you are, I know a lot of people who, to put it in religious terms, they are tempting God by putting themselves in danger. And when you don't take your medications, you're tempting God by putting yourself in danger. Now, there's a verse in the Bible, I think it's in the book of James, where the Bible says somebody came to the church for healing, had some kind of a physical problem. And the solution was to call the deacons of the church, I think, or the elders, for prayer and to anoint them with oil. Now, I was actually in a church service. This is a Baptist church, not a charismatic or Pentecostal church, but a Baptist church. And there was somebody there who had some kind of physical problem, and this person, don't even remember who it was, but they asked for prayer. And so the preacher decided that to do this correctly, they needed to be anointed with oil as well as have the church pray for them. But they didn't have any oil. Then somebody raised their hand. They said, hey, I got a quart of oil in my car. So the guy, I shouldn't laugh when I say this, but the guy went out to his car, got a quart of oil, brought it in, and fortunately they didn't pour the entire quart on this poor person. I think it was a woman. They didn't pour the whole quart on her, but they took a little bit and, you know, just kind of poured it on her head. There, fulfilled the Bible. Did what we're supposed to do, right? Wrong. Absolutely not. Because we know that back in those days, 2,000 years ago, the way that you would treat an ailment, you know, like a skin rash or whatever, is they would use ointment. They would use oil. A lot of people still do. You know, skin lotion is kind of like an oil. You got itchy skin, scaly skin, put, what do they call that, Vaseline or whatever, put that on something to, for whatever reasons. That's a type of, well, what the Bible is saying there is take your medicine. So if you are religious, okay, fine, I'm okay with that. But yeah, go ahead and pray. That's cool. But you're supposed to take your medicine. You're supposed to be anointed with oil. So that is the job of the deacons or the elders, to pray for you and then tell you, take your meds, take your medication. So, you know, I called this chemistry because most medications, you know, they're designed by chemists. And ultimately, everything on the planet is natural. You say, well, this is not natural. Yeah, it is. Ultimately, it is. And if it's been researched properly, if it's been government approved, if it's been, if a doctor has said this is the remedy, this is what you need, maybe not a remedy, but something that will solve take away the pain or whatever, anoint yourself with oil, you know, take your meds. Number 7 is to do what you are doing at this very moment, and that is do research and study. That is to say, just take time to learn. So how are you going to have a healthy mind? Now, the last point, chemistry, you know, we were talking about the mind. So if you have a problem, say with depression or whatever, the doctor may prescribe to you medication for depression or whatever it is. You know, take your meds. But you also need to study. There's nothing wrong with that. If a doctor prescribes something for you, my personal opinion is the first thing you should do is get on the internet and research and find out what it is you're putting in your body. Because, you know, doctors sometimes do get it wrong. A lot of times they get it wrong. That doesn't mean we should ignore their advice, but it means we need to take responsibility for ourselves as well. So get on the internet, study. You know, some of us, particularly people my age, the internet is still something new. If you were born in the 90s, you grew up with it. It's just old hat. It's been around forever. But for many of us, this is, man, this is great. This is something that, throughout most of our adult life, we didn't have, let alone as children. So now we have access to almost infinite information. We can get it. Why would we not study? Why would we not research it? Why would we not get on YouTube and Google the term, the search term, whatever medication it is, and find out what's going on or the condition, find out about that. Get different viewpoints because people have different opinions about things. Professionals have different opinions about things. So how can we have a healthy mind as people with Asperger syndrome, as people who are autistic? Well, one of the primary things, I saved this one for last, but really probably should have been first, is to do study, to do research, to do your due diligence. See those two rectangles on the screen? Want to keep talking? Super. Let's do it. Just click one of those two rectangles. But if not, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you all next time.